Good evening, and welcome to Darkest Hours. Tonight's tale has been pulled from the archives and is simply titled The Last Call at the Bar. The bell rang loud and clear. Last call, ladies and gents. The remaining few people in the bar started to filter out. The noisy teenagers that had been playing pool drunkenly shoved one another out of the door, yelling as they fell into the street, no doubt going on to one of the many clubs that would still be open. Trevor watched them leave as he started to wipe down the bar and prepared to close up for the night. He was just bolting the door when he heard a voice behind him. "You're supposed to let the customers finish their drinks and leave, not lock them in. Unless, of course, that's what you were planning to do." Trevor span around, shocked to see a man sitting at the far end of the bar. He didn't remember seeing him earlier, and surely he would have done. Despite the fact that he was sat, Trevor could see that he was a tall man. He was wearing a trilby hat pulled down just enough that his facial features were slightly in the shadow. He could see a strong jaw covered in rough-looking stubble, and the mouth was downturned, but still somehow had a cruel sneer to it. Like this man had all the answers, and everyone else was beneath him. "Wondering how I escaped your notice, I imagine. Don't worry. No one ever notices me. Why don't you come and sit down? I think it's time that you and I had a chat, Trevor." Now, most people knew Trevor's name, so it wasn't a surprise that this man did. However, Trevor couldn't remember seeing him in the past. He was sure that he would have remembered a man like this. Sitting down and sharing a drink with this man was the last thing that Trevor wanted to do, but there was something in the man's tone that implied that this wasn't a choice. It was a command. So Trevor walked back behind the bar, grabbed a bottle of whiskey and a couple of glasses, pulled up a stool, and sat down opposite the man. The bottle glugged as it poured out a couple of generous measures, and Trevor took a big mouthful. "What do you want?" No matter how close he'd gotten, and how much he examined the man's face, Trevor realized that it was no different to what he'd seen earlier. It was still covered in shadow, although that didn't seem right. Surely he should have been able to make out the man's features by now. "You don't know me, Trevor, so stop trying to recognize me. However, I know you. I've known you for a long time. I've seen you come to this dive every night for years and pour out this shit for the masses that guzzle it up as they try in vain to mask their own misery. All the while you stand there, pouring away, listening to their woes, like some kind of cheap counselor offering drugs to numb feelings. But what about your feelings, Trevor? Who's looking out for you? How do you feel?" Trevor was gripping his glass tightly, and he had to make an effort to loosen his fingers. He knew how he felt. He felt empty. He hated this job. It was just a way to make ends meet. An honest living, but he didn't have to like it. He would go home alone to his cramped little excuse of a flat, sleep, and then come back here tomorrow. Nothing like a bit of monotony to keep you sane, he supposed. He knocked back the rest of his drink and poured out another. "Oh, Trevor, you are a void, aren't you? I've never seen anyone like you. Just an empty vessel moving around from place to place. You, my friend, you need some freedom. You need some fun. Why don't you ever do anything you want to do? Why do you not just do? The man appeared to be getting agitated. He seemed to want Trevor to answer the question, and yet he didn't seem to want words, he wanted action. Words seemed to be wasted on this man, and Trevor felt like for the first time in his life, someone understood him. He didn't need to be constantly making excuses or just rolling along with the tide. He needed to be out there, doing things. He needed to act on his desires and make them a reality. He looked down at the half-empty bottle of whiskey, and then he started to pour. Not in the glass. He started to pour over the bar. He threw the bottle, smashing it into splinters, and then started to throw the other bottles. He had to act, and this is what he wanted. The man sat still at the bar, watching, his face still in the shadow. That's right, Trevor. Purge your old life and become born again. Flame is pure. Flame is a new beginning. And with that, Trevor took his lighter and set light to the bar. Flames quickly spread as the alcohol corked, and the whole bar was soon a roaring inferno. Trevor laughed as the building burned around him. He was finally free of his old life. His new life was just beginning. It was time to enter the world and show them what he was made of. The flames surrounding him like an archway, and on a guard as he marched to the door and pulled. Nothing. It was locked. He stared around the flaming building and then back over at the bar. The man was nowhere to be seen. The new life was over as quickly as the old one. And that was the last call at the bar. Dear me, what was Trevor thinking? Unfortunate, really, but some people are just easily led. So was this tale a work of fiction, or a factual recounting? As always, I'm sure you'll make up your own mind, but if you did enjoy it, then please click the like and subscribe button. Until next time, good night, keep warm, and sweet dreams.